most trustless name in news.
Everyone knows I'm a big fan of decentralization. Crypto was made to decentralize finance, taking monetary power out of the few and giving it back to the many, the people. Although crypto is getting taken over by centralized scum, whose goal is to destroy these ethos and give the power back to a select few. We may not be able to stop this, but let me tell you, we will go down swinging. Fizz Zuckerberg Solana. Find out why in about 10 minutes? Because time for Chico Crypto. Most of you should already know, but if you don't, a vast majority of the crypto projects I support are truly decentralized. Although some of my crypto picks are only semi-decentralized, but these projects are honest about this. Thus, I'm also a big fan of honesty about the state of a crypto project. Solana isn't any of this. They are still centralized. They are enriching the few, and they are completely dishonest about all of this. So, numero uno, let's talk about the decentralization of Solana. If you didn't know, Solana is known for the blockchain ceasing to run. The blockchain is centrally stopped to allow it to catch back up. This has happened 10 times in Solana's short history. And with the last one, which happened earlier this year, the blockchain almost stopped functioning and producing blocks for an entire day, 20 hours total. Now, in the previous blockchain halt before this that occurred at the end of September of 2022, you really get a sense of how centralized the Sol chain is. The downtime was a result of a single validator node being misconfigured, which created an unrecoverable partition in the network. And from this tweet from Lane of StakeWiz, they had to roll back the chain to a certain block slot. Now, how does just one misconfigured node crash the entire blockchain, causing an extreme solution like a rollback? Well, from Solana's website, they say there are almost 2,000 validator nodes validating the chain. If just one is misconfigured, they should be able to drop that node for a quick second and let the others take over. The only way a single node could take down the whole chain is if that node is one of the few, not thousands, that actually validate the chain's blocks. This is likely the case when you investigate the validator requirements to actually produce blocks and make a profit. You gotta be a Solana whale, one of the few if you want to validate on the chain. Solana Compass has a great explainer on this, and here's what is said. Aside from hosting costs, which can run to the tens of thousands of dollars annually, Solana validators must pay to be eligible to vote. This means a fixed cost of roughly 3 Sol every epoch, 2 to 3 days, which means basically $300 each day at current cost. They continue. This means any validator with less than 50,000 in stake from other parties or their own is running at a loss and is likely hoping to grow their delegated stake before it becomes unsustainable. Yeah, you need 50,000 Sol to make a profit validating. If you do not, your validator will be running at a loss. This is a major investment of $5 million.
What are my chances?
Not good.
But remember, there are hosting costs and equipment costs with running a Sol validator. Upkeep and hosting, tens of thousands, but here are the Sol docs on hardware requirements, and it's some of the most costly in the business. The CPU needs to be minimum 12 cores and 24 threads, with a 2.8 gigahertz base clock speed. Minimum RAM is 256 gigabytes, with a motherboard with 512 gigabyte capacity. And then regarding the disks, they say the Samsung 970 and 980 Pro series SSDs are popular with the validator community. This combined, the minimum that won't last you any amount of time before you need to upgrade, costs $4,000. If you want to have equipment that will last some amount of time, you need to spend $7,000 or more. This is a big contrast to Ethereum, where a validator can be run on a Raspberry Pi, which costs under $100. But now let's take a look at how many Sol validators actually have the requirements to operate and make a profit and validate blocks, aka actually providing to Sol's decentralization. Checking out the tracking website Solana Beach, we can see of the about 2,000 validators, 649 of them are under 50k Sol staked, aka over 32%. Checking with a validator just under the requirements, we can see that this validator rarely gets chosen to propose a block. They got a few 11 hours ago, but the last one since these came on December 7th. And then before this, November 24th. This is a stark contrast to the big validators with massive stakes, who are the chosen ones, those that validate almost every single block. Checking out the biggest validator from Coinbase, it proposes a slot every minute or so. Solana's block production isn't as decentralized as they put forth. The block production is controlled by the few, not the many, which is why when one major block producing node goes down, it takes down the whole network. The network relied on that node, and in the world of decentralization, reliance on a single entity will always end up bad. In my personal opinion, Solana is just a VC venture capitalist slow burn pump and dump. Many rich mother effers bought Solana during the 2021 hype and overpaid by a lot. What we're seeing right now is these rich whales pumping the token to get retail excited once again and capture the attention of the markets. And once they have the token high enough to reclaim their money and then some, they will pull the plug. Why do I think this? Well, I actually have some data to back this up. But before we get into that, it's time for a short sponsored segment of this video supported by Fire. And like always, the full details of our agreement can be found in the description. The search for ESG sustainable blockchain technology is intensifying as the world becomes more and more ecologically conscious. Well, that search is over with Fire, a groundbreaking blockchain ecosystem that seamlessly intertwines sustainability, innovation, and technology. Fire is a layer 1 blockchain designed with economic and environmental sustainability at its core. And it's one of India's fastest growing unicorns. They're changing the paradigm from a for-profit economy to a for-benefit economy, incorporating a blockchain based on the Sustainable Development Goals defined by the UN. Fire is also uniquely positioned to capitalize on the growing trend and needs of the RWA sector. The RWA revolution has only just begun and already has billions of dollars locked in crypto, but that pales in comparison to its future that is estimated to reach over 16 trillion by 2030. Fire built the world's first sustainable proof-of-stake protocol, an ESG compliance-based consensus protocol that incentivizes network actors based on their commitment to the 17 United Nations SDGs. Bitcoin's consensus proof of work has famously been criticized for the high energy consumption and harm to the planet it does. The same was once said of Ethereum before changing to proof of stake, much less energy dependent. But Fire takes protecting the environment a step further because rewards calculated in SPOS also include the sustainability score derived from the validators' ESG scores, encouraging a more sustainable and ethical blockchain. Fire pioneering sustainable proof of stake also provides a fantastic opportunity for major growth and market share capture. These early stages of Fire's blockchain growth and token provide investors a uniquely lucrative moment to take part in their bright future. Already, Fire is growing into one of the most important blockchains and infrastructures in the world. We here in the US are often naive to what's happening in the rest of the world. Fire is backed by dozens and dozens of the world's biggest capital firms, funds, and tech companies, and they have already launched partnerships and initiatives with world governments and major institutions. Fire recently announced a partnership with Abu Dhabi University to democratize education and research. They also partnered with Niti Aayog, the most important public policy think tank for the government of India, focused on economic development. Together, they launched the ATL blockchain module, marking a significant step in the digital transformation of India. Fire and MCB Ventures are collaborating on a $7 billion project in the Democratic Republic of Congo to address their critical needs for power. Fire's Layer 1 infrastructure and native token is set to play a crucial role, offering a transparent and decentralized platform for operations, providing renewable energy to that region. Also, in a giant leap towards environmental conservation, Fire partnered with Grow, set to launch a groundbreaking carbon credit exchange marketplace built on the Fire chain, transacted in Fire tokens. We're talking 400 million carbon credits. That's $12 billion in today's money. The launch of this carbon offsetting exchange represents a tangible RWA, using the strengths of blockchain as a practical tool for environmental sustainability. Fire is leading the way to better our planet, and it's also taking advantage of the huge financial opportunities that come with ESG consensus and the green agenda. Fire's infrastructure and token are perfectly positioned to play a major role in this global revolution, and we're here at the earliest stages. So make sure to visit their website to learn more and find links to trade their tokens down below. And also make sure to follow their socials if you have any questions. Links for everything can be found in the description. Now back to Solana. So how is Solana just a VC pump and dump? Well, those that are validators, those rich whales, are basically printing money due to Solana's inflation rate, which is used to pay the validators their staking rewards. If you didn't know, in Solana's early days, the total token supply was much lower. Using Wayback Machine, we can see in October of 2020, Solana had a circulating supply of 43.5 million tokens. Well, checking out the circulating supply today, Solana has over 429 million tokens. That's an increase of 886% in just over 3 years. Checking out Solana docs and their inflation schedule, in just 1 year, next year it will be 525 million. In 3 years, it'll be nearly 600 million, and so on and so forth. To pay out the validators to keep those few happy and pockets deep, they will need to continually dilute the supply to keep up with the whale's money-hungry needs. This whale centralization can clearly be seen in token holding distribution. Checking out CoinCarp, we can see that the top 100 wallets own a whopping 1/3 of the supply, over 33.3%. Just 100 wallets own a majority of the token. Very likely, this is the top 100 validators of the chain, the few. And one of those few is the billionaire VC investor Chamath Palihapitiya, who is milking the Solana hype once again. If you didn't know, in the last crypto run, 2021, Chamath in a podcast let it slip that he got SOL tokens for cheap, a VC discount, and admitted he wasn't hodling, but planning to dump on retail. Let's hear this disgusting back and forth.
Everything's discounted. You want to clear that position in an LLC?
Are you saying I got $1 billion of Solana?
No, bro, I'm saying I have one, but I bought it at a discount.
But you're holding, correct?
Ish.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, me too.
These rich fuckers think it's funny to get richer while the average investor gets suckered in to buy and become their exit liquidity. Well, guess who is back today, supporting Solana like never before? Much more sneaky. Chamath is, but doing it on a whole nother level.
I am very sneaky, sir.
So let us dive right into that dirt. Back at the end of the last bull run, Chamath decided to dive deep into the world of crypto by taking a position with this VC firm Social Capital into a Solana development company, Saber Labs, leading the round, making them the majority stakeholder, aka they call the shots. Checking out Saber Labs Twitter, we can see what projects have been developed by this VC Solana factory. As we can see, one of their first retweets is about Hawksite. And then going to Hawksite's website, we can see it's powered by Saber. Well, checking out the token price, it was recently launched and it pulled off an obvious pump and dump, losing 70% of its value in less than a month from its peak December 8th. You need another example? Here is a project directly from Saber Labs called Saber. As we can see, it pumped almost exactly at the same time as Hawksite, early December, and since it has severely crashed by a similar amount, losing 60% of its value in under a month. There are so many similarities about these coins. Price, supply, price action, timing. This isn't just a coincidence. It's SOL whales moving on to the next step of fucking retail in the arse. Shitcoin pump and dumps. This was just the first couple. There will be more. Beware, Solana is a centralized whale scumbag playground. And I'm gonna skip recess. Cheers. I'll see you next time.
The most trustless name in news.